Yeah, Rohinish, am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So, firstly, welcome to this podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. So, Rohinish, can you tell me something about yourself other when it comes to beyond the startup and beyond the New Age Foundation as you built?
Yes, so my name is Rohinish. I was born in Patna, Bihar. So it's my tagline when I say that I come from a state of culture, history, and stereotypes. So I completed my high school over there. Then I moved to Delhi and I studied here in Alcon International School. I was the vice president of my school and I was also the coordinate director of the TEDx we organized in our school. Apart from that, I have been a writer, a reader, a person who has participated in over 50 debates nationally and internationally. I have written columns for newspapers. When it comes to social activism, I first started out when I was in class 9 and I joined a non-profit organization called Kodia, in which we used to educate people who came from backgrounds which were not really suitable for fostering their needs and for fostering a good empowered background for them. So I started out there as a content creator, and that's when the idea of New Age began shaping up. And it was in 2023 when it officially became active. I, along with three of my friends, we started New Age, and then now it has come to a point where it comprises of about 15 or 16 people from Delhi, Patna, and we have some mentor guidance from people who are studying in US, UK, and it's rather than an organization, it's a movement. We like to describe it as a movement where we let people explore their surroundings. When I talk about Gen Z today in this world, I'm a Gen Z. I'm barely 18 now. But whenever I look at people around me, my peers, my cousins, my brothers, they always lack something. They lack informality and they lack news. They don't know what's going on around them. You can't just stay informed by social media, Instagram, and threads. You have to have some substance in your life. And that's why New Age came into being, where we tried to explain to the Gen Z what's happening around them and why politics is not their matter of their tauji ka favoritism, कि वो किस party को support कर रहे हैं. They should be an informed voter before they become an eligible citizen. So that's what it's all about, to inform people.
Yeah, this is actually a very great thing. At a very young age, you have built such a good organization, which is not only beneficial for the Gen Zs, but also for the people who don't know how to access education in such a way that is easy to understand for everyone. Because when it comes to geopolitics nowadays, so if I talk about a person who is has no clue about geopolitics, so it is very difficult for them to understand about things, right?
Yes, and Shika, to be very honest, I think it's even more important for us because we are Indians. So you see, there are almost 97 crore registered voters in India, and about 10.5 lakh polling stations are established across India. Today, when we are talking, there are five states elections happening at the same time, from East India in Assam to West Bengal to South of India in Tamil Nadu. And so it's really important because when we talk about voter turnout, we saw 92% staggering voter turnout in West Bengal, and the average voter turnout in union elections comes around to 68%. So you see, India is not just the largest democracy; it's an exercise of democracy. It's practicing democracy at its finest level. So when we come in front of the world as Indians, we should be the people who know politics the best. And as he talked about international affairs, so people, when they hear the term geopolitics or international affairs, it often seems boring to them. Even for me, when I started reading Bharti Bhavan's book in ninth class about what the French Revolution was, it was very boring because I don't need to learn a Frenchman's name in my school year. But you see, it really impacts you. And okay, it may not be that much crucial for you to know what Che Guevara or what Lenin did. But when we're talking about a rise in oil prices, a rise in technological goods that come out due to the US and China competition, or even the rise in oil prices that we have, or gas prices that we have witnessed recently due to the ongoing Iran conflict. So you should have a basic, bare minimum knowledge of what's going around you. Even if you don't want to go into depths, when you are entering a room as a Gen Z, as a new person who is currently studying and has access to the world's best education through internet, you should know a bit about what's happening around you so that when you're able to talk to people, you can put your best foot forward as an Indian, as a youngster, or even normally as a human being. You should be well informed. And I think that's very important for us now.
Yeah, this is actually true because I have also go through statistics and got to know that there is only 38% of Gen Zs nowadays who are actually involved in elections and giving votes, while other 55% of the Gen Zs are not active at all and not even interested to give vote, while the rest ones, so they don't feel the procedure is so complex to just get them enrolled into it. So, Rohinish, can you tell me that why is this? What is the reason behind that most of the Gen Z voters don't want to vote and goes towards the digital revolutionization and prefer to share their ideas on social media platform instead of focusing on getting a concrete idea and the concrete leaders so that they could build the base in a very strong way so that they could find a leader who can actually listen to them, because as we know that voting is actually a very crucial thing and the whole future depends on it, how the leader will gonna come out, right?
True. Anshika, that's a very major issue. You see, in our country, we have this stigmatization among the Gen Z that politics is an old man's game. Why to get entangled in it when you can have parties and go out to roam around in cannot place? But you see, it's really important because when we see that in 2024, there were almost 2 crore first time voters who were in the 18 to 19 age group. When we look at the total voters who are aged between 18 to 29, that accounts to around 23%. Now, when we see at electorate below 30, the people who are voting and who are being elected, that comes to around 22%. But there has been a crucial trend that has been declining. When we see a huge share in participating in voting, in 2019 it was 25%, and in 2024 it declined to 22%. So the major reason behind this decline in voting comes from youngsters having this idea that it's too complicated, because if you're listening to your peers or people who are around you, you often see what we call in psychology, it's called shaping on it's called favorability, right? Because if one person says yes, you also say yes in the same manner to agree with them. So I think that's a major downside to Gen Z voting is. Nowadays, it's very easy to tweet about something that's going on in your surrounding, to upload a photo from Pinterest about struggling Indians who are not getting enough food. But the only change that you can make with these issues is how you vote and how you stay informed on how to vote. Because when you're going to vote, even the smallest number of margins count. So you have to let your vote count in, you have to let your vote account in. And the youngsters have to realize that, okay, voting can be complicated, but just reading newspapers 2 days before the election and seeing a few YouTube videos in your free time can really help you to choose a leader who's eligible. You see, 25% of India's electorate is Gen Z. It's a very dominant one. We've seen what Gen Z could do in Nepal. They have shaped a cabinet which is full of people who are from their expertise fields. India has a very big Gen Z population. If they focus their mainstream thoughts on how to develop their country, on how voting can help their country, they can become a force that can change India completely from the grassroots levels. Even when UPSC aspirants give out lectures in public on how to reform India, the main topic that they always encounter is how you should practice practical voting. Practical voting is all about knowing who you're voting for. So suppose let's take example, I'm sitting in Noida. So when I'm going to vote in the next election, I'll be eligible to vote in the next election. I can't just vote on the basis of, okay, which party do I like, which leader do I like. I first have to get informed, or when you're going to vote, you should first know which candidates are fighting for your constituency. Research about those candidates, hear them talk, and you have YouTube and you have Instagram. They are the biggest means of invention that has ever been done in the whole history of humanity. Hear them out. Vote on the basis of candidates, not on a speech that you like or a campaign that you like. You should always choose eligible candidates in your area and promote them. Because let's be honest, the Prime Minister or Home Minister is not coming to fill up roads in your neighborhood, or they're not coming to ask how your grandmother is doing. Your local MLAs, MPs, and MLCs are the people you can get in touch to. You cannot talk to the Prime Minister if you want to. You can talk to the MLC or MLA if you want to. You can talk to your ward commissioner. So you should always elect those people who you think are eligible and who are ground or down to earth or grounded so that you can contact them. You should always become an active citizen who takes part, debates, asks questions. You know, Anshika, I have this thought in my mind I have had this thought for a few days. And it's a very staggering thought when we are talking about this connection about Gen Z being, relevant about the voting rights. It's that we lack a very crucial ability that humanity has survived on. We lack questioning. We don't ask enough questions. And that's the thing we are trying to change with new age media, or I personally am going to change in future if I can, is that we ask questions. You always have to ask questions. You always have to ask why and how, not only to your parents. A human starts his journey of life with questions. You point when you are 2 years or 3 years old, when you start walking on your own feet, you first ask your mother, okay, what is this blue cup? When you become 8 years old or 9 years old, you ask, okay, what is this black substance? What is this coffee that is inside the cup? When you are 17 or 18, you ask, okay, where does this coffee come from? And when you finally go to vote when you're 19 or 20, you should ask, okay, what are the people who are in these coffee producing industries? How are they? Are they living a life of basic human needs? So we as Gen Zs, we lack taking accountability. The biggest positive or upside of a democracy is that you can take accountability from people in power. The biggest power that I, as a 19-year-old, or you, as a 20 years old, or something, has is that you can ask the 75-year-old man sitting on the top of the legislative branch, okay, so how are you going to eradicate poverty? How are you going to give out education? Because that is what a democracy is. You have to ask questions. You have to become an active citizen, an informed voter. And because we can't just talk about how, oh my God, the election is so weak, oh my God, the ruling party is oppressing people. You can have different opinions, but you should have one opinion that the only way you can change it is by informing yourself and by asking questions. And that is how you will change.
Yes, exactly, Rohinash, you are right about it. And previously you mentioned about the French Revolution, right? So as you said that nowadays Gen Zs are not that much aware about how to ask questions about their needs and what are the issues going on. They are not raising questions about it, right? So but when it comes to social media, they people are actively participating in it, asking questions, and not even asking questions but also they are even placing their things and their doubts and even representing their point of views also. So when it comes to the French Revolution, there were societies that were made for when the things were changing in the time of Louis XVI. So in the same way, can't they make societies like the social media on the social media, like on LinkedIn and other platforms like Instagram, so that like minded people would come across and think on a particular issue that is the pain point for the whole generation?
So, as we talked about French Revolution, it's a very interesting fact because tomorrow is 5th May, and people who are a bit of a history geek like myself, 5th May 1789 is the day when French Revolution actually started,
Exactly.
when the tennis court oath was held. You see, the main problem that we nowadays have, or the main solution actually, it lies in itself. It's a paradox that people are aware. People are aware on social media, they raise their voice. We see pages on social media having millions of followers who are raising the right issues. But you know what's the problem? Only if you're liking posts or commenting on them or talking about how a person has been wrongfully done in the society. You can't change things by liking and commenting and sharing. What you can change things by is going to your MLA's office and asking them questions, filing a PIL, because we are now adults, we can do that, right? Filing PILs, going to the local MLA's office, asking them about the health infrastructure in your district, asking why the education isn't taking place. And groups have been made. students nowadays are very socially active than they were before. As I think the main student revolution that happened in 1960s. After that, our generation has been that much socially active. Be it in politics, the latest uprising that we saw in Gargi College, in which Rahul Gandhi also visited there to talk to them. Also, the central government met them. So you see, students are very socially active and politically active. They are informed. But that's just a fraction of people. People who are living in Delhi, Bombay, who are studying in premium institutions, who have means to advocate for them. I come from Bihar. I come from Patna, and I come from a place that is on the outskirts of Patna. If you take an auto from there, we don't have huge buses that go around. When you take a public auto from there, go 30 kilometers out of the district, you encounter places that are totally cut off from this. The biggest problem that we saw in the recent Bihar elections was how they vote on the basis of caste. But you see, the major problem that they face is lack of political informity. What you should tell people is how they can inform ourselves and others. And obviously, students can make societies and groups that can educate these people. That's what we are doing at New Age Media. Even if a rickshawala is going to vote, he should know why he's voting. He's voting for his survival. Because suppose the government comes out of pure popularity or pure favoredness, and they do nothing for the rising gas prices, and a cylinder of gas now costs it's around 2,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees in black market. The next day it can cost around 6 to 7,000 rupees because we don't see any stop to this escalation in the Iran war. And the government doesn't do anything, that man will have nothing to feed his family and himself. So in the next election, his only means to get out of this war that is happening 4,000 kilometers away from his home is to elect and ask. He can go to his nearest party office and ask, why isn't anything being done? My child is starving at home. And that's how the youth can participate. You can help these people by raising their voice. They don't have an iPhone or a Lenovo laptop like us. But what they have is voices. And what we have is a means to connect them to the world. And the students can, the simplest solution for this can be they can start using their social media for the smallest of things. In our school days, we used to have an idea of publishing a newspaper on which we could talk about traveling and rising issues, and our school actually supported that idea. So the immediate solution. See, we can't sit here and talk about questions that are non-existent and only theoretical. We have to search for practical solutions. The latest practical solution that you as a youngster or I as a youngster can implement, or the people who are listening and watching to this podcast can implement, is by being first of all informed about what's happening in their own country. Don't act like politics is an adult's man game, because we are adults now. We should know who is fighting and who is not. And politics determines a country's future. You see, it's not all mathematical and all cruel that people are stabbing each other in the back and oh, they are having black money and they are funneling out money and they are giving it out. Politics is an art. Jean-Jacques Rousseau once said that democracy is the backbone that holds politics together. So be an informed voter. That's what I've been mentioning in this podcast again and again. When you go to vote, now we are eligible for voting. When you go to vote, be informed about what's happening in your area, who's ready to solve them, what's happening in the country. And second of all, be an active citizen. Try to raise your voice. On social media, you have so many pages. On LinkedIn, you have blogs. On Substack, you have journalists from other countries who are ready to raise your voice. Write letters to the editor. We, in class 10th and 12th, we had an English section, all the CBSE students, that we had to write letters to the editors. So you can finally put those skills into the real world and write letters to editors of newspaper. Have a conversation, not only with your friends in your society or your friends in school, but with other people. The only way you can heal this country is by talking to it. So I think that can be the most effective way right now.
Yeah, actually, this is the very most effective way because by raising the voice for a particular issue is what makes the leader pressure to change that particular thing and also look into that also. But Rohinish, do you think that nowadays when it comes to Gen Zs, they people have very less attention span? The first and the major issues nowadays with Gen Zs, because since childhood they are very exposed to the digital world that now they don't have that much interest in the geopolitics and other kind of things, right? And geopolitics is something which takes a lot of brainstorming, where they not only need to learn about the issues, what actually is going on far away from their home, but also they need to brainstorm themselves so that they could get to the conclusion of something by which they can put out their own opinions, like that what is right and what is wrong. For example, when it comes to the geopolitical war that is going on nowadays in between America and Iran, so in that case they must be knowing who is right, who is wrong, what actually is going on in between them, what are the things. So currently they are not having that capacity to brainstorm themselves and to think about it. And I think that nowadays, even though there are a lot of data is available on YouTube, and like there are so many YouTubers like Prashant Dhawan is there, and Dhruv Rathi is there, so they are giving a very huge number of metrics and the data regarding various things, and they are also pointing out their own point of views within these videos. But what do you think that how Gen Zs could engage themselves in such things because of the less attention span they have?
You see, it's a very big problem. Even when I'm talking about myself, the only way I can go to sleep nowadays is watching YouTube shorts and then falling asleep on my bed. So it's a very major problem that we're focusing on. Biology students. But the immediate solution, as we're right now talking, the practical solution to this is that the media industry has also evolved. When we look at news channels which used to only air typical TV programs earlier, now they're publishing shorts. And now you have apps like InShots on or the Hindu app, where you can get news flashes in instants, like 20 words or 30 words, and you can get to know about them. When you're talking about particular videos that are published by these political analysts, it's 15 to 20 minutes. Now, the people who are really interested in topics can watch these videos. But as a youngster, we spend our most of the time scrolling Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. Our attention span has been reduced to 1 minute or 1 minute 30 seconds. So the most effective way is that you can use that time to watch some shorts which are about current affairs or about news, or even watching animation that can tell you about the current things that are going on around the world. Now, as a person who has been, my mother and father, my parents both are journalists. They have been in this field for around 20 to 23 years. So I have grown up in a household that was shaped by newspapers and TV news broadcasts. So I think as founder of New Age Media, and as a person who tells and informs his people around him about the current things that are going on in the world, I think there is a very large possibility that what we do is we do opinion forming for them. First of all, as a creator or a person who is sharing his or her views with other people, what you have to keep in mind is that you are only a means. You can't tell someone what's right or wrong, right? You can only just provide the facts. That's what we did in our podcast in the 4 or 5 episodes that we released. We never used to tell them, okay, this is wrong or this is right. When we made a podcast on UCC, the bill that had come in 2023, we didn't tell them, okay, UCC is right or UCC is wrong. We just presented the facts, the history behind it. We presented you with all the facts. Like when you're cooking noodle soup, we provided you with the instant noodle, we provided you with the water, the flame, the spices. Now it's up to you if you cook a noodle soup or a dry noodle. Right? We provided you with all the cooking ingredients. Now it's up to you how you cook it. It's up to you which party you support. It's up to you which ideology do you follow. If you are a communist, you can be a communist, you can be a socialist, you can be a capitalist. It all depends on you. But what I'm saying is, what you can at least do is be politically informed. In an era of short attention spans, the best thing you can do is watch these news videos, watch these current affairs videos while scrolling through Instagram. It takes around 10 seconds to open a news page on Instagram. Just go through it, scroll 4 videos. It will take you about 20 seconds, and then you can be informed as ever. And you see, technology is like this bottle. When you see it from this sticker, you see that it can be this empty, it can be this empty. But when you see from this small gap, you see it's half filled and half empty. So everything has a downside and an upside. And I think technology in today's era can be a huge upside if you use it correctly. You can stay politically informed, you can form your opinions online. And I'm not talking about learning who Peter Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense for the United States, is, or who the Chinese Prime Minister can be in the next 10 years. That's all, I think that those are all shenanigans. What you can promptly do is just stay informed. Okay, what is the country going through this week? If you are interested, if you're a commerce student or a person who is pursuing BCom or bachelor's in economics, where was the stock market this week? What are the factors influencing it? If you're even if you're in IIT, AIMS, engineering college or medical college, whatever life or whatever stream you choose in your life, current affairs will always help you to build your personality and your own backbone. You can't just relay your personality or opinions on facts that are given by other people. Studying, reading current affairs and stuff can also help you to form your own character. You can have people who can tell you, okay, this is right and this is wrong, and you can have a backbone in saying no. Particularly, I prefer option C. So I think Gen Z can also build their character through this, and they can use short form content to be even more informed in this field.
Yeah, exactly, Rohinish. You are right. Nowadays, even though you are a medical student or an engineering student, or if you are just a common man who is just doing his 9 to 5, you should be knowing about what is actually going on in around you, and not only just around you but also around the world, so that you could be prepared for the upcoming things. And you must be knowing that when you will be going to vote, so which party you will choose, and how the governance should look like if something just get happened in future. Like, as we know, the wars are going on nowadays outside, and not just one war, there are 2 3 wars are going on simultaneously, due to which it is affecting not only the global economy but also affecting the inflation rates around the countries, and especially it is hitting rupee too much, that causes inflation in future in India. And Rohinish, can you tell me one thing, that as a person who is watching our podcast, so how he or she can start working and building his geopolitical knowledge from the start, totally from the scratch. For example, let us say a person, Rahul, is listening to us and he doesn't have any idea, but he see our podcast and he said, okay, now from now on I will be going to enhance my personality and the knowledge, so I will be going to engage on the geopolitical matters from now on. So can you please suggest that how is the roadmap should look like, so that he could get the knowledge about it when it comes to starting from scratch?
So the first thing or the best thing that you can do, and I credit doing this to my father and my mother. They are excellent people who have developed this habit in me. Each one of our parents have a daily habit of reading newspapers. The very simple thing you can do, reading a typical newspaper takes about 30 or 40 minutes. That's a long time, right? So the instant thing that you can do with a newspaper is you take it, you just read through the headlines of the first 2 pages. Usually I read the Indian Express. The first 2 pages are about the national events and the third page is about the international events. So you flip through those 3 pages. If you're a sports enthusiast who's watching the Premier League or IPL, flip to the last page, just read the headlines about what's going on in the world. That's your day. Takes you 5 minutes to get informed about what happened yesterday and what's going to happen tomorrow. That's the first thing you can do. Now, when you have completed reading the habit of newspapers, if you have developed it, the next thing that you can do, if you are a bookworm, if you like reading books, you can start from very simple things that can give you an idea about what politics is. See, if you're just starting out and you love fiction, I would recommend a book called Animal Farm by George Orwell. It's a satire on what communism was. So, through fiction, you can understand what politics is. You don't have to bother your mind too much. And even when you are sitting in the evening with your parents at home, and you're like, okay, I should get some general knowledge right now. Our parents have a habit of switching to news channels whenever they are free. So just sit with them, watch a few headlines, watch what's going on in the world, and that's your day. Takes you 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes for newspapers, 5 minutes for the evening news, and if you're a bookworm, 10 more minutes to read 3 pages of a book. In 30 minutes a day, you can be as informed as more than 99% of the population, because we just don't care. We don't see the point in knowing all this. I have already too much stress in studying this particular book of physics. Why should I read about what's happening in Russia, what's happening in Ukraine? But you should have a basic knowledge. Knowledge never goes to waste. That's what my mother taught me. Whatever you read or whatever you write, that will always stay with you. Because what are you if you're not studying and you don't have knowledge? So you should have a tad bit of knowledge about it. And I would also like to point out that if you are a person who's really interested in geopolitics and what history is, and like 10 years from now or 5 years from now, you see yourself in a sector such as being a professor or even participating in civil services, the very book that you can start with is Lucen's General Knowledge book. It gives you static GK, static history, and it gives you GK and history of all over the world. It's a very concise book that gives you UPSC boost in very few pages and gives you inspiration to pursue it. So start by reading. I think reading is the greatest habit a person can build. And if you are like me, who can't just read and scrolls in his mobile phone and earphones all day, go to Instagram, open Ashtak or Broots or Quint's page, flip through a few reels which shows you current affairs. Or if you are a person who is interested in pursuing this field, then I think reading books is the best way for you. Read John Locke, read James Jacques Rousseau. If you're into Indian politics, start with B.P. Chandra's book. Start with Indian colonialism. Indian history is very rich. It's very interesting. From the 19th century up until the 20th century, it's the most interesting period of Indian history. And other people, it's a real joyful thing to have in life. And you tell other people about it, and they tell other people about it. So start by newspapers, end it by news, inculcate shorts in between. That's how you can stay informed as well.
Yeah, this is actually a very great thing. So, Rohinish, would you like to share some YouTube channels also so that the audience will get to know that where exactly they get the relevant information from?
So I have a few favorite YouTube channels of my own. Number one is he's a very fun man. He has been inspiration. He has been an inspiration in my media journey. His name is Samdesh. You must be knowing him. So the channel is Unfiltered by Samdesh. He covers elections and rallies in the most fun way possible. If you watch one of his videos, you'll be addicted to his channel. So it's explaining politics in our language with satire, with comedy, with full of enthusiasm and most original memes. If you want a tad bit to know about American politics, because you see, America is truly a superpower. What happens there happens all over the world. So if you want to stay a bit informed about American politics, there is this news channel. They're not currently too active, but their older videos are just as gems. It's called Vox, VOX. If you want instant news updates about what's happening in India, Brute is a very good website. People may call it bias or not. Again, opinion forming is upon your own mind. Your cerebral cortex and frontal lobe is all responsible for it. So even if a news channel tells you one thing, you can just differentiate. Okay, this is right and this is wrong. So Vox, Unfiltered by Sandesh, Brute India, BRUT India. It's a very good website to know about what's happening currently in India. Quint, QUINT. It's also a very good news organization. Then you have our typical news organizations, Archtak, NDTV, India TV. They can be boring, but they can be biased if you say so. I don't think so. Media is biased. Media is like a sailing boat. It sets its sails whenever the flow is flowing. It's perfectly okay. So you can watch them for static news that they are providing about what's happening in the particular politics. If you want even much more info, you can, if you want to go to the academic side of it, you can watch videos by Drishti IAS. They are the best out there because the Kirti sir is an inspiration to all of us. If you are a UPSC aspirant or a person who is in 11th and 12th and who wants to pursue humanities and politics as a field, you can use Study IQ and Study IAS. They provide really good videos for this sake. And I think that's it. If you want more info, read books. A book that I would like to tell you is Wealth of Nations by John Locke. It tells you about how economies all over the world survive and operate. And surprisingly, it was written in the 18th century or 19th century, and it is still present to this day. So yeah, that will be all from my side. There are just two things that I would like to say, and I have said over and over again. Be an informed voter, be an active citizen. Start asking questions. The media may be sold, it may be not. I don't think so personally. You can tell whatever about the people of this country. The one thing you can tell about them is they love and they live graciously. Indians are full of love. We are full of history and culture. If you start reading about particular Rajasthan history, if you start reading about the Battle of Travancore that happened with Tipu Sultan in 1800s, if you start reading about the East India Company, how they colonized, if you go to northeastern India, it's a whole different story. They are the most interesting piece of it. We often overshadow northeastern history in our history textbooks, but northeastern history has to be the most exciting history in the world. If you go to South Indian history, it's a completely different story. If you move to North India, Kashmir, Himachal, it's a completely different story. So India itself is made up of different history textbooks. Once you start reading it, it's the most fun thing you'll ever encounter in your whole life. So I think just read, be an active citizen, talk to people, hear people out, and that's how you can become an informed citizen and Gen Z who can at least have a tad bit of knowledge to vote in the upcoming elections.
Yeah, you are right, Rohinash. Because nowadays the knowledge is something which gives you the perspective of thinking about anything. So unless you don't have knowledge, you are unable to make ideas and your own opinions, and don't even able to understand what actually is going on around the world. This is actually very true.
So I think one more thing that these youngsters need to realize is that whenever you're going out in public, every person has their own story. A rickshawala who is riding the streets of Noida in this bare scorching heat has his own story. A panwala who's sitting in a 2 by 2 small shop has his own story. You have your own story. A person who's driving a cab has his own story. So be out for stories. Whenever you get a chance to talk to people, talk to them. Uh, Collect as many stories as you can. Talk to as many people as you can. At the end of the day, what you are is a collection of all the people you meet and all the people you talk to. So talk to all types of people. If you're traveling in a cab, talk to the cab driver. Ask how his family is. Ask how he is doing. If you get a delivery person at your door, talk to him. If you're getting the OTP, if there is a delay, the OTP being generated. If you're going out to the stationery, talk to the bhaiya who is providing you the book. Ask what he has done. Ask what he wants to do. Sometimes when you're out in a shop, provide them 5 or 2 more rupees. Ask what do they like. So talk to people, hear them out, hear stories and make stories, and that's what all life's about.
Exactly, Rohinish, because once we start going around and start having conversation with people, then only we got to know different perspectives, and this not only change our own perspective towards looking a particular topic, but also makes us aware about various other perspectives of a particular thing. So this is actually very important. So Rohinish, can you tell me that as you are building, and so how are you thinking to for the future vision of the new age media, and what do you think that how it will be going to extend in future?
So talking about new age media, the progress was halted because we all were high school students who were busy in our board examinations and in-person examinations. But now it's a whole different story. Once by next month, when our exams for CUET and other colleges end, we'll be back on track. First of all, what we are going to do is we are going to create a website now, and we'll be focusing more on editorial content than podcasts. So we'll be publishing out more research papers, journals, and articles, and then we'll start recruiting. You'll see much of New Age's activity on LinkedIn and X. So stay connected for us for that. And our ultimate goal is to provide a platform to students which can be shared by everyone and anyone in the community. If you are a random student sitting in Jaipur and you're in seventh class, and even if you have an immature opinion that people may laugh at, New Age can be a platform where you can come and talk it out loud and get guidance from people. where you can talk about how the world is changing and how you want it to change. And Gandhi is a very controversial figure in Indian history. Many people like him, many people don't. I personally do because he is on the rupee note, and also because he has a very nice quote that be the change you want to see in the world. And it's the most overused quote ever, but it's true. And we at New Age will try to do the same. We'll try to change the world as we would like it to see. Yes. So that's how we are going to do.
This is actually a very great thing, Rohinish. Unless we don't actually put out the points about the threat and the pain points of the society itself won't gonna look out after that, right? So this is actually a very important thing nowadays. So Rohinish, can you tell me that in the new age media, so have you discovered a structure and a legal side of the new age media, or you are still exploring and figuring out about
We
it?
are still exploring. Actually, we halted ourselves because we weren't 18 then. And for us to be a registered company, we had to get a guardian to sign our paperwork. And it was a bit of a facade. So what we realized was that it was still in developmental stages when we started working on it. And now most of us will be turning 18. I, along with one of my co-founders, will be turning 18 in the next one. So then we get the company registered. We have a hierarchy in the company. We don't traditionally operate like this is someone who is his boss, you're working in his department. We are a student organization after all. The person who is your boss is the person you're playing badminton with at night. So it doesn't make sense. So we give out portfolios. I'm the founder and I'm the editorial head. Along with me, there are several people in my organization who just work for the portfolio. Uh, People like Aditya and Ariman, they handle editorial side. People like Akshay Kohli and Shonish that they handle technical side. We have female writers we have Sana, we have DC, we have Abhishek who handle the editorial part for female side. We have Vidit Vash, Rishi Patnagar who handle the statistics of my of our organization. We have people like Shrish Chaturvedi, Aditya Jan, Kostapal, who handle the other aspects of the organization. So you have this whole web of people who are working together as friends. And you're just going out and trying to do better in the world by just changing what they can, by just providing information that they can. So yeah, that was also a shout out to my team. Thank you so much for sticking out with us for this long time. And yeah, that's about it.
This is actually a very great thing. You just not only maintain a very healthy thing, but also you people work like a family and always stick together. This is a very great thing, Rohinish.
So yes, that's about it. As my concluding note, I would just like to thank my mother and father, Rohini Sinha and Rohini Sinha. My father, as we speak, is now standing in Kolkata covering the West Bengal elections. My mother, as we speak, she had a holiday today. She rushed to her office. She's a deputy editor at News Station, so she's working there. So big shout out to them. They have really helped me in this journey and they have helped me to become who I am. My immediate goal, personal goal, is to complete my PhD in international relations. And that is the ultimate goal to look all forward to. So you should have one goal in life that should be like the highest top ceiling that you want to achieve. And that is it. And just be informed, ask questions. If you stop asking questions, that's when you become ill-informed or uninformed. Ask questions, be active, be who you are, and be who you want to be. That's it.
Thank you so much, Rohinish, for joining us. And we are very glad to have you here with us. And we not only touch the perspectives that most of the Gen Zs are not even aware of, but also how to solve the problem as well. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Anshika. It was lovely to come at Stootap, and it's an organization which talks about people who are trying to change the world. And there are very few people who trust Gen Zs with initiatives and programs that they have launched. I'm really thankful to Stootap for reaching out, for helping me put my voice out there. It was a wonderful experience. We talked a lot about how things can change and how they are right now. And I think that's about it. It was lovely being here.
Thank you so much, Rohinish.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day. Thank you.